Fantastic, yeah. It's allowed the club to push on in terms of revenue generation. It's also guaranteed that we get games on, and that's helped us to increase our crowds, because with a guaranteed game on a Saturday every other week, then you can make sure crowds are going to turn up. We're not having to cancel games because of the weather, so it has been fantastic for us.
And you mentioned the weather. Obviously, this season we've had quite a lot of games postponed. We're in mid-April, games still postponed. Do you think clubs should potentially add 3G pitches to their grounds?
Yeah, I think what it's shown is that if you buy the right quality of pitch, that it plays as good as a grass pitch, and that you also get the benefit of then having the revenue from the midweek hire of the pitch, which has been a lifeline for Hyde. We don't have a wealthy benefactor. We're a fan-owned club, so we generate all of our own income.
Yeah, I suppose having the community using the pitch, that must be great for not only the club but also the local area. They're playing on the pitch where their heroes are playing on.
Yes, yeah, and it's seen a rising crowd. So 468 here today, I think, which is 150 up on our average crowd last year, and that's been pretty solid now for the second half of the season. We are winning, but I think the pitch helps us to win, because it means that we're able to get on it, and then we're increasing the crowd because people know the games will be on, and as you say, they're able to train on it. The young kids come here and then come and watch the team.
Yeah, and as you say about the pitch, it's a flat surface, so do you think that helps the play run better? Because a lot of people say the balls have an unnatural bounce on a 3G pitch.
Yeah, not on this generation of pitch. You find that they're much truer and they play much more like a grass pitch. So the rubber on these sits deeper in the pitch, so the ball doesn't kick up off it as much as you would experience maybe 5-6 years ago in the older style pitches. So yeah, it's been really beneficial. It's allowed us to bring in footballers who are comfortable playing the ball on the ground, and then that allows us to ensure that we play against teams in the style we want to play.
What's the general reaction from fans being told the 3G pitch? Did you have much opposition?
Yeah, at first, because we've historically had a very good pitch here. 20 years ago we were winning pitch of the season every year, and then when Manchester City was here, they spent a fortune on the pitch, so that the fans were used to having a very high quality grass pitch. So yeah, initially there was some worry about the fact that we were going back to 3G, or we were going to 3G, but that was quashed straight away when they saw the quality of the pitch we'd fitted.
And is it better than the all-style 3G pitch that Hyde had about 20 years ago?
Yeah, I mean that was a sand-based hockey pitch really. So this is the latest generation. So Arsenal have this at their training ground, Celtic have this at the training ground. So we knew that it was a decent surface. Otherwise, pro clubs wouldn't have that kind of surface anyway. And secondly, we knew it was safe, because the cost of players in the Premier League, they're not going to allow them, and the insurance companies aren't going to allow them to train on this unless they know it's safe for them to use.
And the Football League have banned 3G pitch since 1995. Do you think it'd be soon that they bring it back into the game?
Yeah, the vote was nearly won at the last time it was taken to allow teams in the lower leagues to use it. So I think it was 51 to 49 or something like that, percent wise. So it's very close. And with the latest data that came through, I read a report last week from University of Southern California that had done a 10-year study into the use of 3G pitches, and they say that they have now proven that it reduces injuries and wear and tear on muscles and tendons by 60%.
So it's good for the players then that they're not going to pick up as many injuries as what people perceive they might?
Yes, because historically it's always been, well, you get more injuries from a 3G pitch. I think a lot of that was down to the makeup of the pitch and people's studs catching in the pitch and maybe causing injuries to their knees. But these new pitches, you play on them in a full stud. So this pitch will take a full metal stud, so there is no catching of the pitch because of the way it's laid and because of the length of the grass.
And just going back to the EFL, they've told Sutton, Bromley and Maidstone that if they get promoted they won't be allowed to use their 3G pitch in the league. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's the current rule, so they're correct in saying, but I think next time it's voted on, personally I think that the vote will be to allow them, because I think that for the clubs in the lower leagues, so the Conference Prem and in League 2, then there's a requirement to have the financial security of knowing you can raise £150,000 a year for people training on your pitch, and again, without that, Hyde would be dead.
Yeah, so 3G pitches are very important to clubs like Hyde United.
Yeah, I think anyone from step one of the non-league pyramid down, really, playing on a 3G pitch is critical to the survival of the club. And even with a rich benefactor, there comes a point where they're no longer able or willing to put large amounts of money in. And if the business is running in the background and is able to demonstrate it can generate funds, then you've got a better business, and then you've got a club.
Do you think football clubs, especially non-league clubs, as you say, will have more and more 3G pitches in the near future?
Yeah, I think you'll see a strong growth now, because Hyde have demonstrated that we can play good football, can push for promotion and can be viable financially. So all the clubs around us at step 4, step 3, I would think were seriously considering following our model.
And the FA allow it in the FA Cup now, as Hyde United proved earlier this season against MK Dons.
Yeah, and that's been a change that was only made in the last couple of years. So yeah, I'd be surprised if they continue to vote against it when the vote comes up.
Yeah, and during that FA Cup game, we also saw the flare nearly wreck the pitch. It was great to see that the club managed to get the game on. Yeah, well, it was me that ran down and kicked the flare off. So, and I think the fourth official was close to saying we can't play on this, but the ref went, well, I'm not calling it off with 4,000 in the ground. So let's play on, and we'll see how it goes in the game. And it was fine, to be honest. And then Greenfields, who are our pitch manufacturer, were here within 2 days with a new piece of carpet, cut it in, and you would never know that we'd had any damage. Was it down that end, sorry?
Yeah, so it was the end behind me, but you can't even tell where the damage was. So that again, that's the beauty of the pitch. They were just able to cut out a 4 metre by 12 metre section and lay a new section in.
Did it cost much to make that repair then midway through the season?
Well, it was £12,000, but we were insured, so insurance, because it wasn't an act of God, it was an act of stupidity by somebody who came in the ground.
Yeah. And just finally, what do you think the futures of 3G pitches going to be? Are we going to get them in the Football League one day?
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if we didn't. I think unless there's a migration towards only really being financially viable in the top 2 divisions, then they've got to allow League 2 and the new League 3 when it comes along to use 3G pitches for those clubs to survive.